On Friday, October the 19th, shortly before 8 p.m., the Medicine Hat Police Service responded to a 911 call in the 100 block of 5th Street Southeast, indicating that a male had been shot. Police attended the residence and found a male in serious medical distress. The male was transported to Medicine Hat Regional Hospital, but later died from his injuries. The victim has been identified as 44-year-old Medicine Hat resident Aaron Matthew Ermenko. The Medicine Hat Police Service Tactical Arrest Control Team was deployed, and when they entered the home, found 54-year-old Donald Wayne Neufeld, also of Medicine Hat, deceased. It is believed Neufeld died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Our major crime section is investigating the incident. Autopsies will be conducted in Calgary on Monday, October the 22nd. Presently, our forensic unit will be in the residence today processing the crime scene. And at this time, the investigators believe that the motive to be the result of a dispute, as the victim and the deceased were known to each other. We don't anticipate any further news releases in regards to this matter moving forward.
Do you know who made the 911 call?
Someone from inside the residence.
Are they known to police?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you say their relation? They are known to each other, but you just called a family dispute earlier?
We weren't there previous for anything that I'm aware of that day, and from what I understand, they're acquaintances.
So the police were on scene for several hours last night, and they had the block kind of closed off.
Yes.
What was the reason for that prolonged closure?
That was the results of the TAC team that was out, and of course, in situations like that where we know that a firearm was used, and the determination of where the suspect might be, we didn't know it for sure, and so the TAC team certainly is deployed, and we have a responsibility to ensure that they remain safe and our members remain safe, as well as the surrounding neighbors. So that's why there's a process and some methodical that we go through to ensure that occurs.
You mentioned there was a dispute. Are you able to elaborate on what the nature of the dispute was at all?
At this point in time, I think it's fair to suggest that it's a private family issue, and it will remain that, have it remain as such.
Was there anybody else in the house at the time that you're aware
Yes.
of? How many people?
As I'm only aware of one additional individual.
Were any of the other neighbors, any other parts of the neighborhood evacuated while the TAC team was deployed?
No. Of course, we made contact with them to advise them that we had a situation at that residence. But as far as I was informed, there was no evacuation of anyone.
Do you have any idea of the timeline between the shooting and the self-inflicted wound?
Obviously, as we indicated, that police were called that just shortly before 8 o'clock. There was numerous attempts to make contact with the residents. Those all failed, and it was, I think, shortly after 1 a.m. when the TAC team entered the residence and found the deceased.
Do you have the age or the gender of the other person in the house?
I don't have an age, and it was a female.
Was the 911 call made prior to the first victim being shot, or afterwards?
No, we responded to a 911 call of a gunshot wound.
Was the female injured in any way, taken to hospital?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You mentioned the difference when the TAC team went in, they found the second deceased. Where was the first deceased found, inside or outside the residence?
The first deceased was found inside the residence. It was certainly a dynamic situation for our patrol officers. It would be irresponsible to have a medical team from EMS attend inside, and as I understand, our patrol officers removed that deceased male from the residence to ensure that he received immediate medical attention in a safe environment.
It looks like there's a lot of the windows shot out on the around the house. Can you talk about that now?
When our TAC team is involved in a situation to try and determine, is anybody in there, there's a process that is gone through to ensure that we try and identify whether someone is in the residence and whether they're alive, and that is part of that deployment strategy. And so different types of munitions were used to try and determine whether there was an individual in that residence and where they might be in that residence. So if and when TAC members would have to enter, their risk would be mitigated.
Can you tell us what type of weapon was used in this?
It was a handgun, is all I know, and Any more than that, I don't know. The investigative team is still obviously processing, and we'll be dealing with that as the day move forward.
Have you mentioned the timeline for the second victim with the self-inflicted gunshot wound? Do you know if that occurred after the TAC team got there? Were there any negotiations at all, or did that happen before they arrived on scene?
As far as we know, there was certainly no indication. The TAC team was unable to make any contact with anyone in the residence, and so failing numerous attempts for hours, there was a need to step up to the next level, which was the deployment of different types of munitions, and then entry into the home.
The female who was in the home, what relation, if any, did she have to either of the victims?
At this moment in time, I'm not sure. I believe there was some connection there to one of the deceased, and exactly what that is at this point in time, I'm not sure.
Can I just get your first and last name and have to spell both?